Ethiopia is the second most populous country in Africa, and over 80% of the population live in rural areas. That's where MWA concentrates its work. There's a lot of pressure that's placed on the soil, on water resources, on vegetation. A lot of it has been deforested, and many of the areas where we're working are also negatively impacted by climate change.
Because of the drought and absence of rainfall, there is no spring flows, the groundwater level has dropped down. Because of high slope, runoff is favorable in that area, so most of the water is going out of that area.
Water means everything in this locality. When water shortage happens, the livelihood situation turned into disaster.
In Ethiopia, we're trying to address people's multiple needs for water. One of the ways we've been doing this over the past several years has been to integrate WASH and conservation.
WASH refers to water, sanitation and hygiene, and that includes provision or accessing safe water supply, promoting improved sanitation facility, and hygiene promotion.
IWRM, or Integrated Water Resource Management, it's really a philosophy. All uses of water are interdependent, and you carry out an IWRM to bring about equity for all of the relevant stakeholders.
The MWA has been implementing WASH programs in Ethiopia since 2004. For the past 2 years, we've been fortunate to have funding from the Conrad Hilton Foundation to build systems to address people's needs for safe water, and then use additional funding from the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation through its RAIN initiative to integrate additional IWRM activities for people to use for small-scale farming, for other kinds of small businesses to generate income and improve livelihoods. Catholic Relief Services, or CRS, has been a partner with MWA in Ethiopia since the beginning of our program in 2004. CRS works with Water Action, building its capacity, technical support, administrative backstopping, and the idea is really to work together with a local organization that understands the community's needs, that will be there for the long term.
We need the involvement of community, because in IWRM there is a lot of activities. Before we start the project, our first assignment is gathering the people for informing why we are there. For each and every component, there is a training and there is a provision of startup materials.
There are different new initiatives, integrated natural resource management activities that resulted in the rehabilitation of degraded land, the presence of area closure where vegetation regenerated. We have been also implementing livelihood diversification interventions, including saving and interland lending, sanitation marketing, which aimed at strengthening women engagement in business initiatives, producing latrine slabs and fuel-saving stoves, the establishment of nursery groups to raise multi-purpose trees which are relevant for soil and water conservation activities. There are also other initiatives like apiculture group. Through this initiative, the educated and unemployed youth started their business, keeping bees or selling honey.
In Ancharo, about 50% of the people, their produce is not enough for 6 months.
Irrigation and soil and water conservation were not practiced in this locality before the project. But now, after the small-scale irrigation scheme, the local people started to produce at least twice a year, and the agricultural production dramatically increased. SILK refers to Saving and Internal Lending Community. The ultimate objective is to promote saving and to create a kind of social security scheme among themselves.
We have a nice example in our Ancharo area, the sanitation and marketing group. They started from scratch, cash box and one calculator, but today they got legal entity from the government.
ራሳችን ይሄ ሙያውን መልመዱ ንጽህናችን መጠበቁ በጣም ነው ይሄንን ያገኘነው በጣም ወቃት አግኝተናል ገቢ ማግኘታችን ይሄንን እየሸጥን እኛ ወንድ ከመጠየቅ ሰው ከመከጀል ከወንድ ፊት ከማንም ፊት ተከልክለን በራሳችን ጊዜ እያወጣን የምንፈልገውን ነገር እንሰራለን
These new initiatives promote women engagement in business activities to improve their decision-making power in different development interventions.
እርግጥ ውሃ ትራክሽን ያው ፕሮፖጎ ይሰጠኝ ባላገኝም በጀም ባይዝም እነዚህም ጥቅም ናቸው ማለት ነው የምተዋቸው ማለት ነው
The infrastructure in Ancharo area in terms of road is poor and the soil is not stable. When there is rain, there is a lot of landslide. After each rain, we have to clean the road to pass. In terms of other infrastructure like clinic and school, due to the project, there is a lot of improvement in terms of sanitation facilities, in terms of water supply.
Government participation drastically improved. They've been very productive in supporting through the safety net, through mobilizing the communities, and through owning the programs themselves.
የተቀናጀ ተፋሰስ ስንል ያው ባንድ ጊዜ የሚመጣ ለውጥ አይደለም ያው በሂደት የሚመጣ ለውጥ ነው ዋትራክሽን ሰራ እስከሚሰራ ድረስ ያለውን ነገር የተከታተለ ምንም ያለ ሄዳል ከዛ በኋላ ግን ያንን ውሃ የማስቀጠል ልክ ሌሎቹን እኛ የሰራናቸው ውሃ ተቋማቶች እንደምንከታተልና እንደምንል በፕሮግራም ውስጥ ያለው አሁን ይዘናል
One of the challenges in integrating IWRM or conservation activities into a community WASH program is the time frame for seeing impact. When you're integrating IWRM activities, oftentimes the time frame to see an actual impact is going to be longer. Sometimes we're talking about 5 to 10 years instead of 2 to 3 years. That's why it's so important to communicate with the donors the impact of investments in the environment along with water supply can have on a community and the environment in which they live. Based on the success of the program in Ethiopia, we've learned that making small, incremental investments over the longer term can really pay off huge dividends. Integrating WASH and conservation has become part and parcel of what MWA does. We include it in all of our programs.
Today, almost all lands in Ancharo area is under physical and biological conservation treatment, and the runoff that was created before is reduced. People are getting clean and adequate water at a reasonable distance. There is also a big achievement in terms of sanitation marketing, and the sick people that visited the clinic, they are getting water within the compound. This all achievement is due to this project. Water is a scarce resource in this area, but today I am really happy when I see that every household is getting water.